Y'all, IndyCar's crazy right now. If you did not watch last week's Indy 500, do yourself a favor and watch a replay. First off, we had Joseph Newgarden trying to become the first back-to-back Indy 500 winner since Helio Castroneves in the early aughts. The last time the Indy 500 had a back-to-back winner, people were wearing low-rise jeans, Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man, and Nelly and Kelly Rowland had that music video where Kelly was shown texting on an Excel spreadsheet. What was up with that?
Irregardless,
it was a while ago. But I digress. Not only is Newgarden looking for back-to-back 500 wins, he's also trying to win back the people after the push-to-pass cheating scandal at St. Pete. If you aren't familiar, let's take a trip down memory lane to the first race of the season. We're at St. Petersburg, Florida. Beautiful area. Team Penske pulls a hacker man, hacks the mainframe, and finds a bypass to be able to use the push-to-pass on restarts, giving Joseph Newgarden, Scott McLaughlin, and Will Power an unfair advantage. Now, the Penske drivers were penalized and disqualified from the race at St. Pete, and a lot of people just no longer have trust and confidence in Sneaky Joe. Now let's jump forward a bit to the Indy 500. St. Pete is done. Pato O'Ward was declared the winner like a month later. Scott Dixon won at Long Beach. Scott McLaughlin won at Barber. Alex Palou won the Indy GP. Now we are at the 500, the Indy 500, a race considered more important than the entire IndyCar championship. They essentially dedicate the whole month of May to it. It's like the firstborn child of races. It's clearly the one that you love the most and put the most time and effort and energy into. To quote Justin Timberlake, it's gonna be May. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Indy 500 qualifying format, it's actually pretty simple. You have qualifying that happens a week before. It's not determined by lap time, but top speed. Not top speed, but top average speed. Not over one lap, but over 4 laps. Are we following? Okay, great. That sets places 13 through 30. Then the next day we have the Firestone Fast 12. That sets places 7 through 12. And then we have the Firestone Fast 6. And that determines places 1 through 6. So if you're an F1 fan, it's just like Q1, Q2, Q3, but instead of cutting off 5 drivers in Q1, you cut off 18. Instead of cutting off 5 drivers in Q2, you eliminate 6. And in Q3, you have 6 drivers instead of 10. I'm pretty sure that was an SAT question I had when I was applying to DeVry. Now, to put it in terms of a video game like, I don't know, Final Fantasy VII, first day of qualifying is like getting out of Midgar. Fast 12 is Temple of the Ancients. And Fast 6 is Tifa and Cloud falling into the live stream. Are we all on the same page now? Great. And if you must ask, Bump Day is like the Chocobo Racing minigame, which I love. Which might raise the question. I thought qualifying was done after the Fast 6. But wait. There's more.
Hey, there's more.
A lot more?
Much more.
There is a bonus round for those who do not qualify places 1 through 30. We have last chance elimination, aka bump day, for places 31 through 33. Essentially like a Street Fighter bonus round where you beat the crap out of an old Honda. Now you might comment on this video and say, Richard, how many cars are getting eliminated on bump day this year? Well, the answer is 1. While there technically isn't a limit on how many entries there can be entered into qualifying, there is like logistical and practical limit. Running a car is expensive and you need to have engine support from Honda or Chevy. So you can't just enter your Prius or Zuzu Amigo. Lord knows I've tried. According to a Reddit thread that I did not fact check, the de facto limit is based on chassis and engine supply. It keeps the entry list around 36 at most. But apparently, in 1984, there were 114 entries into the 500, but it was the 80s. It was a different time when Indy cars ran on cocaine and dreams.
I love cocaine!
So back to bump day. You had 4 cars in last chance elimination fighting for 3 slots. You had Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson, you had Grammy Rahal, you had Catherine Legg, and 19-year-old Nolan Siegel. Now you had Nolan Siegel crash out in last chance quali, so the grid was finally set. Now why do you only have 33 cars qualifying? John, I'm so glad you asked. According to a motorsport.com article, which I did not fact check, this limit was originally devised in 1911 and was calculated by determining that a safe distance between equally spread cars would be 400 feet, thereby allowing 33 cars on a 2.5-mile track. Now, I'm glad we're continuing to use a rule that was established in 1911, because if we learned anything, it's that old weird laws are the best laws. Like how it's illegal to eat raw onions while walking down the street in Northfield, Connecticut, or how in Arizona you can't have a donkey sleeping in your bathtub after 7 p.m. I say this over and over and over again. If you want your donkey to sleep in your bathtub, please do it in the daytime hours. It's just common sense. So like I was saying, the grid is set with Team Penske's Scott McLaughlin getting pole, driving the iconic Penske yellow Pennzoil livery, aka the Yellow Submarine. Now, if IndyCar loves one thing, it's nicknames for different cars. You got McLaughlin in the Yellow Submarine. You got Marcus Armstrong in the Chip Ganassi Ridgeline Honda, aka the Green Machine. You got Alexander Rossi in the Aero McLaren Velo Chevrolet, aka the Vape Mobile. Scott Dixon in the Chip Ganassi PNC Bank Honda, aka the Bank Tank. Alex Palou in the Chip Ganassi DHL Pride Month Honda, a.k.a. the Pride Ride. Will Power in the Team Penske Verizon Chevrolet, a.k.a. Can You Steer Me Now? Santino Ferrucci in the MAGA Wagon. Graham Rahal's orange vest race suit had people asking, damn girl, are you a highway work zone? Because you double fine in the highway Honda. Kyle Larson in Double Trouble. It's no coincidence that Ed Carpenter's first name is spelled E-D in the Guy Care Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet. You could expect this car to drive hard. Please consult your doctor if your car has a fuel injection lasting longer than 4 hours. You had Felix Rosenquist in the Sirius XM Meyer Shank Honda, a.k.a. the Jukebox Jalopy. You had Ryan Hunter-Ray in the 4.6's Ranch Chevrolet, a.k.a. the Meat Wagon. Connor Daly in the Crypto Cart. Then you had Stingray Robb in the AJ Foyt Goodhart Animal Health Center car, a.k.a. the Vet Jet. Now, some of you were trying to tell me that this should be called the Bark Cart. So I'm going to leave that up to personal preference. But last and most certainly not least, you got Catherine Legg and the Dale Coyne Racing Elf Cosmetics Honda, a.k.a. the Lip Whip. You know what? I got to stop for a second because I got to stop for a second because they're mowing my lawn. Just look at this. So we're just going to wait for a moment right here while they're doing a little bit of work in the back. Hold for sound. We're just going to hold for sound for a quick second. All right. Any second now. You know what? I think it's going to be longer than a second. We're going to have to cut and restart. Damn it. Now I messed up my frame. Hold on. Oh, shit. Now, where was I? Right. Now, we finally have the grid set and the race is about to begin. The only problem is we have rain. And I'm not talking about the cool kind of rain that Prince or Tazon Day sang about. This ain't no purple rain. This ain't no chocolate rain. I'm talking about rain that is wet. And one thing we know about wetness is
moisture is the essence of wetness. And wetness is the essence of beauty.
So we spend much of the day just waiting around. As you can see right here, John, we have a 30% chance of being bored AF while we wait for the track to dry. The track finally dries. It's mid to late afternoon. We get ready to go. Now, before the race even starts, Kettle Milot has to pit and has to start the race from the back. But when the race finally does start around 4 p.m. or so, we have 3 cars taken out on lap 1. Tom Blomqvist goes a little too low on turn 1, spins out and collects Marcus Harrison and Pietro Fittipaldi like they're goddamn Pokemon. Gotta bin them all. Gotta bin them all, Pokemon. Now, you might be asking, who is Tom Blomqvist? Is he the Swedish one? No, you're thinking of Felix Rosenquist, also Linus Lundqvist. Then you might ask, I thought Linus was Dutch, to which I reply, no, that's Rinus VK. But do you know who is also Swedish? Marcus Ericsson, who Tom Blomqvist took out of the race on the first lap. Now to the pedantic Pauls in the comments section, you might say, Tom Blomqvist is Swedish. Well, Paul, Peter, or Patty, he is Swedish-ish. He was born in the UK to Swedish parents, but grew up in New Zealand and now lives in Monaco. So Tom Blomqvist is about as Swedish as I am when I'm double-fished in meatballs at the IKEA in Fishers, Indiana, all right? So TLDR, not Blomqvist, but Rosenquist, but also Lindquist, but not Renus, but Linus. Are all on the same page here? Good. Now back to the race. Lap 8. Marcus Armstrong in the Green Machine is out due to a mechanical failure. That's one Honda engine down, caution out. Lap 23, Catherine Legg in the Lip Whip is out due to mechanical failure. That's another Honda engine down. Lap 25, the cars leading the race all pit, in which lap 27 gives us a restart with some unlikely race leaders, Stingray Robb and Connor Daly. Connor Daly in the Polka Dot, a.k.a. the Crypto Cart, a.k.a. the Blockchain Buggy, a.k.a. the DeFi Dart, and Stingray Robb in the Vet Jet, a.k.a. the Bark Cart. We all on the same page? Great. Even though Stingray Robb was no longer in the Pray.com livery, he was surely asking Jesus to take the wheel, and Jesus let Connor Daly pass him. Maybe Jesus needs a few more hot laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway before he asks him to do some driving, right? So the local boy, Connor Daly and Stingray are in the front, even though in the standings it shows them as leading the race. They're not really leading the race because they're not on the primary strategy and will eventually have to pit, and they're going to lose those positions. But while Connor Daly is leading the race, everybody in the stand is just losing it. They love this kid, and everybody in Indiana wants to see the con man succeed and once again get a permanent seat in IndyCar. Because if you weren't aware, the 500 is the only race that Connor Daly is scheduled to race this year. Lap 28, Linus Lundqvist slides and crashes into turn 1. Now that's Linus, not Renus. Just to be clear, another caution. And we're seeing so much caution, you think the race is a ding-dang construction site. Lap 50, we got Scott McLaughlin in the Yellow Submarine leading the race, followed by Ferrucci in the Maga Wagon, Rossi in the Vape-Mobile, Joseph Homelander Newgarden, Alex Palou in the DHL Pride Ride, Felix Rosenquist in the Jukebox Jalaki, and Pato O'Ward in the Duck Truck. Lap 56, Felix Rosenquist has a mechanical failure and is out. That's a third Honda engine in the first 60 laps out to mechanical failure, which led to this hilarious clip from the announcers. And that's the third Honda engine in the first 60 laps that we've seen have to retire due to engine failure. On that note, we'd just like to remind you that aerial coverage for the Indy 500 is brought to you by Honda. Hope the drones don't crash. Those engines are a piece of shit. Oh, what, we're still on? Honda! I'm telling you, you could not have written something with better comedic timing. So we have another caution and another restart. To quote my favorite Coldplay song, let's go back to the start. Lap 75, we have Stingray Rob, a.k.a. Stingpray Rob, leading the race in the Vet Jet, a.k.a. the Bark Cart, formerly known as the Promobile, a.k.a. the Bible Buggy, a.k.a. the Jesus Jeep, but he's not really leading the race because he's not on the primary strategies. Scott McLaughlin in the Yellow Submarine in second is really the race later. Lap 80, we have McLaughlin first, Polton Herta in second, and Newgarden in third. Lap 86, Colton Herta spins out and crashes. That's 8 cars out of the race. That's 8 thus far, shooter. And like the 15th studio album from pop icon Mariah Carey, we have caution. Lap 100, Kyle Larson impressively in 9th place. Lap 107, Ryan Hunter-Reay in the Meat Wagon makes contact with Scott Dixon in the Bank Tank. The Meat Wagon is out.
Hello? Where is the beef?
Lap 114, on another restart, Marco Andretti spins in turn 1 and hits the wall. And like the hit 2020 single from the American rock band The Killers, we have another caution. Lap 147, Will Power crashes out in turn 1, and somewhere Flavor Flav is shedding a single tear for his favorite IndyCar driver. Power might not win the Indy 500 this year, but maybe someday he and Flavor Flav will start a private detectives agency and solve crimes together. Now at this restart, things are looking pretty good for Arrow McLaren. They got Rossi in the Vape-Mobile and Pato O'Ward in the Duck Truck up front, ahead of Scott Dixon in the Bank Tank and Broseph Newgarden. Now, lap 180, we see an unusual sight where Ed Carpenter is leading the race in the Geico Bone Drone, but he still has to pit. And third, we also see Kiffin Simpson, the pride of Cayman Islands, a.k.a. the Slayman Islands, a.k.a. the Mama Slay Mobile, but Kiffin also has to pit. But now we're at lap 190, and things are really getting interesting. We have Broseph Newgarden, Alexander Rossi in the Vape-Mobile, Pato O'Ward in the Duck Truck, Scott Dixon in the Bank Tank, Kyle Kirkwood in the only remaining Andretti car, Alex Palou in the DHL Pride Ride, Scott McLaughlin in the Yellow Submarine, Renus, not Linus, VK, Santino Ferrucci in the Maga Wagon, America! Yeah! Connor Daly in the Crypto Cart, and a partridge in a pear tree. Lap 195, Broseph Newgarden leads, with Pato, Rossi, and Scott Dixon, a.k.a. IndyCar's Manu Ginobili, all within 2 seconds. O'Ward then makes a pass on Newgarden at the end of the lap. And just when we think Pato might finally win the 500, Broseph Newgarden passes O'Ward on the last lap, and what might go down as one of the best Indy 500s of all time. Newgarden then runs into the stands, probably immediately regrets the decision to put himself in the presence of normies and pores, but powers through that experience to then address the haters and give a post-race interview similar to Tupac's single Hit 'Em Up.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
So TLDR, the 500 was lit, just like my favorite 90s rock band, Lit. Now, if you don't like and subscribe the video, please tell me why.